Om Sada Shiva
Shankaracharya
Asmadacharya Guru Parampara Om Sahana Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karvavahai Tejasvinavadhitamah Vidvishavarai Om Shanti Shanti. Om Tat Sat. Om Namah Shivaya.
Om Namah Shivaya.
Om Namah Shivaya, sir.
Om Om. So let us chant the third verse again. We have not completed it. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha.
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha.
Lokesmin dvividha nishtha.
Lokesmin dvividha nishtha.
Pura prokta maya nagha.
Pura prokta maya nagha.
Gyana yogena sankhyanam.
Gyana yogena sankhyanam.
Karma yogena yoginam.
Karma yogena yoginam.
Okay. So we had already discussed the grammar part of it, and we were talking about the fact that Krishna had said that at the very beginning of creation he had introduced two types of lifestyles. One was Sankhyanam, and he called these lifestyles as Nishtha. So Sankhyanam was the lifestyle of a sannyasi. So as I said there, Sankhya here means sannyasi. Sankhya also has the meaning of numbers. So there is Sankhya Yoga of Kapila Muni. This is not that Sankhya. This Sankhya means Jnanam, and therefore lifestyle of a sannyasi, Nivritti Marga. And that lifestyle is what kind of lifestyle? Jnana Yogena, which is to be spent in the pursuit of knowledge only. And then you had the other one, the Karma Yogi, who had a lifestyle which is Karma Yogena. He was talking about extroverts, and for them, extroverted people, they have to do Karma Yoga regularly. So where to go, what to do, how much money to earn, all these things are there. And for those people, Krishna had said that a different lifestyle was prescribed by him called Karma Yoga, which consists of Nitya Naimittik Karma, which consists of Panchamaha Yogas, Yajnas, which we will talk about later. So the Karma Yogis have an active lifestyle of contribution to society, of service to society. So there are two lifestyles. One is of service to society, and one is of following Jnanam only. And if you remember, these two people will have two different kind of mindsets, which we had talked about in some time earlier. So there is a mindset which we call the triangular format, and there is a mindset which we call the binary format. So in the triangular format, there are three entities present in the person's life. So Jiva, Jagat, and Ishvara. So that person is a Karma Yogi. He is a Jiva who is living in the Jagat, which was created by Ishvara. And Ishvara is responsible for all the things that happen to him. Okay. Then there is a different mindset which is called the binary format. That mindset is that of a Jnana Yogi, not of a Karma Yogi. And in this binary format, there is only Ishvara and there is Jagat. So let us look at the main differences between these two mindsets, because by understanding these differences, we will know that why. We will understand why Krishna says there are different lifestyles for these two different types of people. Okay. So the Karma Yogi does sadhana, right? He does Ishvara Arpanam, he does Karma Yoga, Upasana Yoga, all these things. So he's a Karma Yogi. He does sadhana. He is a mumukshu. He looks upon himself as somebody who is seeking moksha. and therefore he is a sadhaka. The karma yogi is a sadhaka who does sadhana to achieve the sadhyam, which is moksha. These three words should be clear. Sadhaka is the person. Sadhana is what he does. That can be karma yoga. It can be upasana yoga also. And sadhyam is what is sought to be achieved doing the sadhana. What is sought to be achieved doing the sadhana? Finally, moksha. Right. So that is the attitude of a karma yogi. What is the attitude of a jnana yogi? After several years of doing karma yoga, and after that he will get chitta shuddhi, and then he will come to jnana yoga, and then his mindset will change. He will understand that there is no sadhyam, there is no objective for the sadhana. What does that mean? The jnana yogi who comes, this basically is a karma yogi who has done his karma yoga, he's done his upasana yoga, he's got chitta shuddhi, he has got jnana yogyata, and therefore he has come to jnana yoga. He has done shravanam and he has done mananam. So this might take, weeks or months or years or lifetimes. Okay, it could be 10 weeks or 10 months or 10 years or 10 lifetimes of Vedantic study. But ultimately his mindset will change. He will know that he is Nitya Mukta Atma. He is Brahman. So knowing that he is Brahman, what does it mean? He knows that he is Jivan Mukta. And because he is Jivan Mukta, that objective, the sadhyam of moksha, is no longer a sadhyam for him. Because he is basically the sadhyam itself. He is a Jivan Mukta. So Jnana Yogi has changed his mindset. Karma Yogi says, I am a sadhaka. Jnana Yogi says, I am the sadhyam. I am the very purpose of all that sadhana, which is what? Moksha, which is Jivan Mukta. So the purpose of sadhana is to become Nitya Mukta Atma, eternally free Atma. And Jnana Yogi now knows that he is this free Atma, and therefore the sadhyam is no longer there for him, and therefore he is not a sadhaka. Therefore the Jnana Yogi does not look upon himself as a sadhaka, he looks upon himself as Brahman itself. That is the first difference. Then, since the Karma Yogi has a sadhyam, an objective in all his karma, and what are the karma? All the karma that he does is Ishvara Arpanam, right? And because it is Ishvara Arpanam, he looks upon Karma Phalam as Ishvara Prasadam. And for him, remember we said that Ishvara Arpanam is a way of life. For the Karma Yogi, it's a way of life. Every karma that he does has to be Ishvara Arpanam. Therefore, for the Karma Yogi, all the karmas which he does is sadhana only. It can be Nitya Naimittika karma, it can be Laukika karma. Everything is a sadhana, basically for Chitta Shuddhi. And after Chitta Shuddhi, he will come to Jnana Yoga, and then he will come to Moksha. And therefore, for the Karma Yogi, all the karma that he does is a sadhana for Moksha Purushartha. Right? However, what is the outlook of the Jnana Yogi? He looks upon himself as Atma, Brahman. And for him, therefore, since there is no sadhana, there is no karma which is a sadhana. He might be doing lots of karma, right? But for him, no karma is ever a sadhana. And therefore, we say that for the Jnana Yogi, karma is not for himself ever. He doesn't do any karma for himself ever. It is always for Loka Sangraha Artha, for the benefit of the society. Loka Sangraham. For that only he does sadhana. For any karma that he does is only for the well-being of society. Therefore, for the Jnana Yogi, no karma is a sadhana. Everything is karma abhasa, we call it, as if karma. Because karma is basically done for oneself. And this karma not being done for himself, it is being done for the well-being of society. Right. Now, third difference. The karma yogi does the sadhana for the sadhya. And therefore, he looks upon moksha as a sadhyam. Sadhyam means what? Something which has to be accomplished through the sadhana. Therefore, for karma yogi, moksha is a objective, something to be accomplished. For a jnana yogi, moksha is his own swarupam, his own nature. It is siddha vastu, already achieved objective. And therefore, for karma yogi, moksha is an objective to be achieved. For a jnana yogi, moksha is an objective which has already been achieved. That is the third difference. Then karma yogi does sakama bhakti also, right? Because why does he do sakama bhakti? Because he cannot totally avoid it. Because karma for moksha is present. Wherever karma is present, there is some amount of karma for himself also. So he cannot totally avoid. But jnana yogi has no karma for moksha, for obvious reasons. For him, moksha is achieved. So what is the corollary from these four points of discussion? The corollary is that you can have either one of these mindsets only. You can either be in triangular format or you can be in binary format. You cannot be sometimes in triangular and sometimes in binary. You have to be either in the triangular format or in the binary format. And to use Vedantic terms, which means you can either be a karma yogi or you can be a jnana yogi. Because look at all the 4 points which you discussed. They are alternatives. You can look upon yourself as a sadhaka or you can look upon yourself as Atma. You can look at moksha either as an objective to be achieved or you can look upon moksha as an objective which has been achieved. They are totally different. You cannot have a combination of both. So the difference in the lifestyles is because of this. And this difference in the lifestyles, remember, is mindset only. And that is why we are talking about the triangular format and the binary format, both of which are mindsets, both of which are frames of mind. They do not talk about your lifestyle in the external world. Externally, the karma yogi can do puja, the jnana yogi can also do puja. Externally, the karma yogi can do Gita Parayanam, the jnana yogi can also do Gita Parayanam. The motivation is different, that is all. As a karma yogi, I do puja for Chitta Shuddhi. As a jnana yogi, I will do puja for Loka Sangraham. Why? Because I don't need the Shuddhi, I don't need moksha. Because the Siddha Vastu for me is already there. For a jnana yogi, no karma is required. What is the jnana yogi status? He is Jivan Mukta, and all that has to happen is that Jivan Mukta has to turn into Videha Mukti. That Jivan Mukti has to turn into Videha Mukti, which is sheer passage of time for the prarabdha of the body to be exhausted. As simple as that. Okay, so that's the third verse, the commentary, the third verse. And therefore, we have to remember that Krishna is saying that these two, what you call, paths are there. And one path is the beginning part, second path is the ending part. They are not two independent parts for moksha. Now we will chant the fourth verse. So please unmute yourself. Na karmana manaram anarambhat. Na karmanam anarambhat. Naishkarmyam purushošnute. Na cha sannyasana siddhim samadhi gacchati. Okay. So we will look at the grammar part first, as usual. Na karmanam anarambhat. So there is a breakup of the first word. Na karmanam anarambhat naishkarmyam purushaha ashnute. So that this avagraha in the purusha ashnute will disappear. It will become purushaha ashnute. So na karmanam anarambhat naishkarmyam purushaha ashnute. Full stop. Na cha sannyasat. Sannyasa. The last one is ta. Sannyasat eva. Sannyasat eva siddhim samadhi gacchati. Siddhim samadhi gacchati. And the Anvaya we can look at. The prose formation will be Purushaha karmanam anarambhat naishkarmyam na ashnute. So Purushaha karmanam anarambhat naishkarmyam na ashnute. Sannyasat eva cha siddhim na samadhi gacchati. There are two sentences. First is Purushaha karmanam anarambhat naishkarmyam na ashnute cha, and sannyasanat eva siddhim na samadhi gacchati. So what does it mean? He's saying that a person does not attain naishkarmya, the state of actionless. Purushaha na ashnute. A person does not gain what? Naishkarmyam, the state of actionless. By what? Karmanam anarambhat. By anarambham literally means not beginning. So it can be taken as non-performance. By the non-performance of karma, activities. So a person does not attain the state of actionlessness by the non-performance of activities of karma. That is the first statement. And then na cha or cha, and na samadhi gacchati. Samadhi gacchati is getting moksha, basically, getting success and liberation. Na samadhi gacchati, the person does not get moksha out of evam, out of sannyasa. This purely because of sannyasa. So samadhi gacchati siddhim. Samadhi gacchati is to basically completely attain or go to. Siddhim here is moksha. So na cha, that person, samadhi gacchati siddhim. Na samadhi gacchati siddhim, does not get moksha. Sannyasat eva, purely out of sannyasa. So two things are being said very clearly. One is that by avoiding action, by not doing action, a person cannot get moksha. That is the first statement. And the next statement is also equally important. By merely taking sannyasa, by merely renouncing the world, one does not get liberation. Both ways. If you avoid action, you cannot get moksha. If you take sannyasa also, you cannot get moksha. So what is Krishna trying to say? So he's saying, hey Arjuna, whatever be the lifestyle that you choose, I will request you all to please keep your phones off. Keep your phone on mute because it disturbs the recording. So whatever be the lifestyle you choose, says Arjuna, says Krishna, hey Arjuna, necessarily you will have to go through two sadhanas in both the lifestyles. Whether you choose the grahastha lifestyle, which is the lifestyle of karma, or whether you choose the sannyasa lifestyle, this is the lifestyle of jnanam. The lifestyles are different, but the sadhanas are the same. And there are two sadhanas. One is the purificatory sadhana. That sadhana to purify your mind, which requires karma. Karma yoga, upasana yoga. Right? Karma yoga and upasana yoga alone will give you chitta shuddhi. So whether you are a grihastha ashrama or whether you are in sannyasa ashrama, until your mind is purified, the jnanam will not give you any benefit. And therefore, in both the ashramas, you have to first do karma yoga and upasana yoga, which is activity only, which is karma only. Therefore, one is the purificatory sadhana, and second is the jnana yoga, sadhana of study. And therefore, in the Upanishad, Taittiriya Upanishad says, Swadhyaya Pravachanacha. You have to make sure that you do your Swadhyaya. So Swadhyaya here is the study of the scriptures, study of Vedantic classes. And it's not very, popular nowadays, because supposing you tell somebody that, I have been attending Vedanta class for 5 years, they will raise their eyes and say, 5 years? What is there so much to study? So they don't understand. They don't even know what is it to study. But we should know that study of the scriptures means a systematic study of scriptures, which requires, study of various aspects. First, to study a prakarana grantha like Tattva-bodha. It's a book or text which gives you certain basic concepts. Then you study Bhagavad Geeta. It takes a long time because there are 700 verses. It will take at least something like 300 classes. So it might extend into several years. And then there is the Upanishads. You must do at least 7 or 8 of them. And then there is the Brahma Sutra. When you have finished all these, in the middle there are very many Prakarana Granthas also, smaller texts which you see to give you a better idea of Vedantic concepts. So it requires a long period of study, a very, very intense period of study under a proper teacher. And if you look at the Shankaracharya Bhashyam, for one of the texts, one of the verses, which is the 66th verse of the 80th chapter, Sarvadharman Parityajya. Okay, for that verse, Shankaracharya's Bhashyam is so deep that it will take you, if you are doing the Bhashyam study, it will take you at least 10 to 12 hours, 10 to 12 classes to complete that one sloka. And that's for the Bhashyam alone. And in Shankaracharya Bhashyam, there are people called sub-commentators who write, for every one line that Shankara writes, there are 15 lines that this commentator writes. So if you are there in a traditional ashram like Kailasha ashram in Uttarkashi or Rishikesh, you will find that they will study not only just the text, Gita text, they will study the Shankara Bhashyam of the Gita text. And not only that, Shankara Bhashyam they will study, there is a Tikakara called Anandagiri, that also they will study. And there are other Tikakaras also, other commentators also. So to study one line or 2 lines of the Bhashyam, it might take them 7 to 8 days. So that kind of depth is involved. And therefore we say that you can study your entire life and you would have exhausted a very small percentage of scriptures. Right? So right here, Krishna knows that, but here Arjuna is not ready. So he's wanting to emphasize the importance of karma. And later on we will see that Krishna will also emphasize the importance of jnana. And therefore we can now look at this sloka, which gives you 3 reasons why karma should not be neglected, why you should be doing karma. The first reason is that by avoiding action, you cannot avoid samsara, right? Which means when he says you cannot get moksha by avoiding action, by giving up action, it means you cannot get away from samsara. Because where is the samsara? It is not the external world. The samsara is in your mind. And wherever your mind is, you are there. Wherever you go, whether you are going to be in the battlefield or whether you're going to be in Rishikesh in a sannyasa ashrama, that same mind comes with you. So you cannot get peace of mind by running away from duties and family. So running away is not the solution. It will never give you peace of mind. Why? Because the problem is not external to you. The problem is internal to you. And if you have a mind which is disturbed, that mind will give you samsara wherever it is. Wherever you are located, the mind is there with you. The mind will give you samsara. But if your mind, which has been refined through Shastram, And wherever you are, whether you are in the middle of the market or whether you are in Rishikesh, that mind will give you peace wherever you are. And this is the problem that all of us make. The biggest mistake we think is that the problems that I am facing is because of my family, because of my relationships, is because of the community, is because of my job, is because of the external world. And therefore, I need to get away from all this. You know, the concept of vacation that we have, basically it's a get away from your current situation, right? Vedanta says that is a big mistake, because the problem is not outside you, the problem is inside you. And therefore Krishna says, na karmanam anarambhat. By avoiding activities, by avoiding duties, by avoiding a responsibility, avoiding your family, purushaha aishkarmyam na ashnute. You will not attain moksha. So this naishkarmyam is a technical word which means moksha or peace of mind. The importance of this word is what? Why is it called naishkarmyam? Karma means a person doing karma has got doership, has got kartrutvam. So kartrutvam means deha abhimana. He is identified with the body, right? And if karma is there, samsara is there. Wherever samsara is there, karma is there. And the word naishkarmyam does not mean not doing karma. It's very important to understand. That is why we say no, actionlessness, English translation. Naishkarmyam. It does not mean not doing karma. It means that I know that I am akarta. I know that it is the body which is doing karma, and I know that I am not the body. So that is what is called naishkarmyam. Aham akarta. Aham akarta means what? I am Brahman. I am Brahman means what? I am free. I have got moksha. I am Jivan Mukta. That is why naishkarmyam is taken as the absence of kartrutva, which is the same as Jivan Mukti. And therefore, here when he says naishkarmyam, Krishna means moksha. So, moksha through renunciation, he says. So he says, mere renunciation or detachment cannot give liberation. So when he says here that you cannot get moksha through renunciation, sannyasa eva. Here sannyasa should be understood as mere renunciation, detachment without knowledge. Right? Without knowledge, you can never get moksha, is the message being conveyed from here. Without jnanam, there can never be moksha. If you just go and wear those, those sannyasi robes, the saffron robes, that is not going to give you moksha. Just becoming a sannyasi formally is not going to give you moksha, Arjuna. And just becoming an ashramavasi is not going to give you moksha. Running to Himalayas is not going to give you moksha. Sannyasa will give moksha, yes, but only when backed by scriptural study. And therefore, you can understand that whether you are a sannyasi or not, whether you are a sannyasi or grihastha, that is not the criteria for moksha. Sannyasa gives you a more congenial environment for scriptural study. That much we can understand. Why? Because sannyasi has no relationships. And since he has no relationships, he has no duties. He may have ashrama duties in the ashram where he is staying, but ashrams usually tailor their duties in such a manner that there is sufficient time for scriptural study. In fact, scriptural study is part of the work of the ashram. There will be classes going on, and every sannyasi is expected to be there. And therefore, sannyasa provides you with the infrastructure and the time available for scriptural study. To that extent, sannyasa is good. But it doesn't mean that a grihastha cannot do scriptural study. Because minus that jnanam, sannyasa can become a very big problem. And about this, Krishna will talk later. And that is why Krishna says here in the second line, na sannyasa eva. By merely putting on those saffron clothes, eva is important. Merely, only. By only putting on saffron clothes, only means without having the accompanying Gyana. Siddhim na samadhigacchati, a person can never acquire moksha. Siddhi here means success. Success is success in your spiritual sadhana, which is what moksha only. Each word has to be understood properly. Siddhim, normally, if you look at this dictionary, it will say success. But then you put it in context. Success for what? Success in whatever you are doing. What are you doing over here, Arjuna? He's talking about the spiritual path. On the spiritual path, success has only got one meaning, moksha. So sannyasa does not guarantee moksha, is what Krishna is saying here. Hey Arjuna, sannyasa does not guarantee moksha. Why is he saying all this? Because in the first chapter, Arjuna had very clearly said that I would rather throw away everything and not fight, which means let me run away from the battle. Run away means I have to take sannyasa. I have to go to the forest and meditate. So sannyasa does not guarantee moksha if sannyasa is not accompanied by jnana. Now, having used the word sannyasa, we can look at the traditional meanings. There are two meanings for sannyasa. There are two types of sannyasa. So one is called Vividisha Sannyasa. I think we have spoken about this earlier. Vividisha Sannyasa is Veditum Ichha, having the desire to know. Having the desire to know Brahman, Vividisha. So this person who takes this kind of sannyasa is got Nitya Anitya Vivekaha. He knows what he wants and he wants to spend all his time in doing that, and therefore he takes the formal sannyasa. This is called Bahya Sannyasa, the formal sannyasa with the saffron robes and all that, with the bhiksha patram, so that he doesn't have to cook in his house. He just goes and goes to an ashram and either eats there or he goes asking for bhiksha and eats that bhiksha only. So minimum possible duties are there, only that which is necessary to keep your body alive. The rest of the time he can spend in study. So that is the Bahya Sannyasa, the external sannyasa, which is the formal sannyasa, what we call. So that is Vividisha Sannyasa. Vividisha literally meaning having the desire to know, Atma or a Brahman. Then there is Vidhwath Sannyasa. So Vidhwath means having knowledge. With meaning knowledge. What the suffix normally is taken to be that which has what is in the beginning of that what. So Vidhwath, that who has knowledge, that one who has knowledge. So Vidhwath Sannyasa is a person who takes sannyasa because he has got Gyana. So he is a Jnani, he has got knowledge, and because of that knowledge, he knows that there is no other karma to be done in this world for him. And he wants to spend the rest of his life in that knowledge, in that nididhyasanam only. Therefore, he makes himself totally free from all duties. He renounces all the other three ashramas and he becomes a sannyasi. So a jnani can opt for this kind of sannyasa. Now again here we must say that the jnani need not formally take sannyasa, in the sense need not take that formal sannyasa of putting on the robes or putting on saffron robes and all that. He need not do. And so the jnani can be a sannyasi whether he becomes a formal sannyasi or not. But what is the main objective? The main objective is to remain in the knowledge. And in that knowledge, knowing that he is akarta, he wants to give up actions as far as possible. So this is also called Sarva Karma Sannyasa. It is also called Antara Sannyasa, internal sannyasa. It is also called Jnana Karma Sannyasa. There are various names which come about in various parts of the scriptures. And though Krishna is making it clear here that by simply taking to sannyasa, formal sannyasa, you will not achieve Naishkarmyam status. Because Naishkarmyam status means you must know yourself as akarta. And to know yourself as akarta, it needs what? You must have Atmajnana. So, hey Arjuna, just running away and becoming sannyasi will not give you jnanam, because will not give you moksha, because for moksha, jnanam is a must. So that is what he's saying. Arjuna, this is the thing. So he's trying to tell Arjuna that you decide what is it that you want and then only take a decision. Simply saying, I want to take sannyasa because I don't like what I have to do, that is not a wise thing to do. Okay, now we look at verse number 5, which we will chant. Nahi kaschit shanamapi
Nahi kaschit shranamapi
jatu tishtatya karma krit
jatu tishtat karma
karyate hyavashak karma sarvah prakriti jair gunai. So there are certain chanting rules which I am not going into. I think those of you who are in chanting classes will know that sarvaha is not sarvaha prakriti. When it is chanted, it becomes sarvah prakriti jair gunai because of the p which follows, the pa which follows the visarga of sarva. Okay, that has been explained in chanting classes. Also, the gunai is gunai he. The visarga becomes he because of the gunai. I think most of you will be familiar with that, so I'm not getting into those explanations. So for those kind of chanting explanations, we need to join the chanting classes. All right. So he says, look at the words, the breakup. Nahi kaschit, that is ta, kaschit shanam api. Kaschit shanam api jatu tishtati akarma krita. So that tishtatya, the tya, when that appears, the breakup will be tishtati. So the tya is because of e plus a. The combination of e plus a is giving you that. Tishtati plus a, tishtatya. So the breakup is tishtati plus akarma krita. So na hi kaschit shanam api jatu tishtati akarma krita karyate hi avasaha karma sarvaha prakriti jaihi gunaihi. So prakriti jaihi gunaihi. That is why the ra is there after prakriti jair. Ra is the sandhi joiner. It breaks up when you break the sandhi and becomes prakriti jaihi gunaihi. Okay. And anvaya will be nahi kaschit shanam api jatu akarmakrit tishtati. Full stop. Sarvahi avashaha prakriti jaihi gunaihi karma karyate. That is anvaya. Now look at the words. The he, you have to bring in the beginning. He means indeed. Indeed. Na kaschit jatu tishtati. No one remains. Na kaschit tishtati. No one remains. And jatu is ever. So na kaschit jatu tishtati. No one ever remains. Apishanam. For even an instant. Akarma krita. Without performing karma. So na kaschit hi jatu tishtati. Api shanam akarma krita. Nobody can remain for even a moment without performing karma. Why? Because sarvaha avashaha. Everyone is helpless. Helplessly. Sarvaha, everyone. Avashaha, helplessly. Karyate karmaha is made to perform actions. Very interesting statement. Nobody can remain for an act without doing action, without doing karma, even for a moment. Because everybody is, and the word is avashaha, helplessly made to perform karma. Karma karyate. Avashaha karma karyate. Helplessly made to perform karma. How? Gunaihi, by the three gunas. Prakriti jaihi. So the jai here indicates born from. So janma. Prakriti janma. So Prakriti Jaihi Gunehi, by the three gunas which are born from Prakriti, are born from nature. Okay, so little grammar point. Vashaha means that which is in your control. Avashaha means not in your control. And so I use the word helplessly, without being in control. So he's saying that, hey, Arjuna, nobody can ever remain without doing karma, even for a fraction of a moment, because everybody is helplessly made to do karma by the gunas which are born out of Prakriti. Okay, so a very important statement for all of us. And Krishna is pointing out that a person is always engaged in some kind of activity or the other. So if Jnanam is there, if he is a Jnani, that person reduces karma, but he will engage in what? Nididhyasana. If Jnanam is not there, but Jnana Yogyata is there, Chitta Shuddhi is there, that person will engage in what? Shravanam and Maranam. If neither Jnanam is there, nor Jnana Yogyata is there, then he will engage in some karma or the other. And that karma will be dictated by his swabhava, by his nature. Okay. Having said that, then we can look at what the karma is going to be. See, all the karma which a person does can be broadly classified as Shastriya karma, that karma which is prescribed by Shastram, and Ashastriya karma, that which is not prescribed by Shastra. So traditionally, a person who is either a brahmachari or a grahastha or a vanaprastha, any one of the three ashramas, can engage himself in some shastriya karma or the other, because the karma kanda of the Veda, it prescribes karma for all these three types of people. For brahmacharis, there are certain karma. For grahasthas, there are certain karma. For vanaprasthas, there are certain karma. These are all prescribed in the karma kanda. So we are all now looking at people who are basically Vaidikas, who have the, this is all in connection with the older time frame, where everybody knew the karma kanda of the Vedas. And therefore he says that karma kanda prescribes karma for all these three: brahmacharis, grahasthas, and vanaprasthas. And what is the reason why karma kanda does that? Because by continuously keeping these people busy in something or the other, which is shastriya karma, it keeps them away from non-shastriya karma. Okay, so very important reason. Why does karma kanda prescribe karma for you all the time? Because of this reason, where Krishna says that nobody can ever remain from karma, or remain away from karma. And what is the logic? Your mind is there all the time, and that mind always wants something, and about something or the other you have got to keep on doing. And the logic for karma kanda prescribing karma is that by doing shastriya karma, by doing what you could do, what you must do, it will keep you away from doing what you must not do. That is, by doing nitya naimittika karma, it will keep you away from papa karma. You will not do karma which generates papam. You will continuously be engaged in shastriya karma, which means you are generating punyam all the time. That is good for you. So this logic is available for brahmachari, grahastha, and vanaprastha. But supposing this person has taken sannyasa, right? What happens about sannyasa? We said there are two types of sannyasa: Vividhi Sannyasa and Vidhwath Sannyasa. Now, these two types of sannyasa are not compulsory, but they are recognized by the scriptures, that there is sannyasa for acquiring jnanam, for removing yourself from the duties of of the world and becoming a sannyasi, so that you can devote exclusively yourself to acquiring jnanam. So that is Vividhisha Sannyasa. And there is Vidhwath Sannyasa, which is because of jnanam alone. Right? So, but these two are not compulsory, but they are permitted. The Shastram says that it is okay to take either one of the sannyasas. Then there is a third type of sannyasa, which Shastra does not approve of, but which is the sannyasa which you see in most people today. It is called Kevala Sanyasa. So Kevala Sanyasa means this person has not taken sannyasa for either of the two reasons prescribed earlier. What are the two reasons? One is for acquiring jnanam and one is because you've got jnanam, right? And therefore, when you take sannyasa for acquiring jnanam, what do you have? You've got jnana yogyata. And when you take sannyasa for after acquiring jnanam, what do you have? Jnana. So the two types of sannyasa which Shastra says are okay are for people who have got the jnana yogyata and for people who have got the jnanam. And this Kevala Sanyasi, he has got neither jnana yogyata nor jnana. So the argument has to be followed. If you are in a sannyasa ashrama with either jnana yogyata or jnanam, you are aware of what is to be done. And therefore you will do only shastriya karma. The jnani, of course, will do nididhyasanam or whatever. But this person who has got neither jnana yogyata or neither has got jnanam, and he takes to sannyasa, the normal framework of the world is not available for him to do karma because he has taken sannyasa, right? So what will he do? He will do only a shastriya karma, karma which has not been sanctioned by Shastram and which can be nisheda karma also. So this is what Krishna is coming to. What was the first argument? The first argument was that sannyasa does not guarantee liberation. Sannyasa without jnanam does not guarantee liberation. Now this is the second argument, that it is impossible to give up karma because everybody will be forced to do some action or the other governed by his character. And therefore Krishna says, Shanamapi akarmakrit natishtati. A person cannot remain actionless for even a fraction of a moment. You can give up physical actions, but remember, the more you give up physical actions, the more the mind becomes active. And therefore, when you sit for japa, somebody said very humorously, when you sit for japa, on the name of the name of the Lord, your Easwaran nama, it rolls on your tongue. And in your hand, what rolls? The mala rolls. But what about the mind? In spite of Easwaranama rolling on your tongue and the mala rolling on your hand, your mind is rolling all over the world. And therefore, it is important for you to understand that physical actions cannot be given up without certain amount of mindset. And that is why Krishna says, Chatu Shanamapi. Even for a moment, a person cannot never give up karma. Why so? Prakriti Jaihi Gunaihi. Every person is forced to do some action or the other by the three gunas of Prakriti. So Prakriti here means Maya. Maya here means the basic cause of creation. And this Maya has got three gunas. And these three gunas, because the Karanam has got three gunas, the entire Karyam, which is the creation, plus all the jivas, that the Karana gunas, they will be present in all the Karyam also, right? The characteristics of the creator is present in the creation also. And therefore, if you have, let us say, 20 carat gold, which is the cause of the creation of the bangle, if the cause is 20 carat, the bangle also has to be 20 carat. If the cause is 20 carat, you cannot have a 24 carat bangle. And therefore, there is a Sanskrit law. Karana guna karye anuvartate. The gunas of the Karanam, they are inherent in the Karyam also. The traits of the Karanam, they will be there in the Karyam also. And therefore, if the Karanam for all of us is Prakriti, which is three gunas, then those three gunas are present in all of us also. And therefore, that is why he says avashaha, helplessly karyate. This person is pushed into one activity or the other by the three gunas only. And you can understand that yourself. If you observe yourself, you need not tell anybody. You just observe yourself when you're attending the class. Where are your hands and legs? What are your fingers doing? Are they rolling around on the desk? Are you biting your nails? Are you drumming the desk? Some activity or the other will always be there. So this is a very important point that Krishna is making, that the very nature which you have, which consists of three gunas. Prakriti, you are born from Prakriti. Prakriti has three gunas, and therefore you will also have three gunas. Your body will have three gunas, your mind will have three gunas. What are the three gunas? They're always in motion. Three gunas are never inactive, excepting for a brief period during pralayam. And that is not relevant to us because during pralayam, Srishti is not there. During Srishti, three gunas are always active, always moving, always trying to get back into balance. And therefore, the constant movement of three gunas means constant movement, constant actions, constant karma. And therefore, the mind is always active because mind consists of three gunas. And that is why when any teacher tells you to stop your thoughts in meditation, people say that you should arrest your mind in meditation. The mind cannot stop because the mind is meant to function. It is not meant to stop. The three gunas will ensure the mind functions always. As long as you're awake, as long as the mind is not resolved, the mind will continuously have thoughts. And that is why we say that Vedantic meditation, Nididhyasanam, is about directing the function of the mind, not about stopping it. So any type of meditation that we do, it involves prescribing the appropriate thought, not stopping your thought. And that is why Krishna is saying here, hey Arjuna, you cannot stop your thoughts. And therefore, if you try to give up your actions by running away from this battle, remember that wherever you go, that very nature, those very three gunas of yours, which have given you your Kshatriya nature, they will make you do fresh action. So if you become a sannyasi and go to Rishikesh, remember that you are a Kshatriya. Remember that you are a Rajasic person. Remember that you have got leadership qualities. What will you do there? You will probably go there and start a sannyasi association, or you will start some Rudraksha business. Something you will do because activity is there. And in your nature itself, activity is there. So two arguments have been given. One is by giving up actions, you do not get moksha. Argument number two is that in any case, you cannot give up actions. This is the text of this particular verse, a very, very important verse for all of us. And it is good to again and again do mananam on this verse, try to understand the implication of each of these words for our own selves. Why do I do actions all the time? Why is it that my mind is always active? All these are answered in this particular verse. So with that, I'll stop for the day. Any questions?
Acharya ji, can I ask?
Yeah, Vasanta ji, boliye.
Yeah. So you are saying that either we can be karma yogi or jnana yogi, right?
You cannot be both.
Both. But see, right now we are all karma yogis, right?
Yes.
But at the same time, you are looking for jnana, also knowledge is part of our this thing. So what does it mean then? We're still karma yogi, but striving for knowledge.
No, you become a Gyana yogi not in the process. You become a Gyana yogi when Shravanam and Mananam are over.
Okay.
And then you may still do karma, okay?
Yeah.
But the point is, right now, as a karma yogi, you are going to say that I am the body and the mind.
Yeah.
As a Jnana yogi, you are going to say I am Atma.
Mm.
So as a karma yogi, you need upasana, you need karma to improve your mind, which you are.
Yeah.
As a Jnana yogi, you may improve the mind, but you are not the mind. As a Jnana yogi, you are Atma. Your karma and upasana does not improve Atma. So as a Jnana yogi, you may still do the same karma because a good mind, a focused mind is always enjoyable, but it is no longer relevant to moksha. While as a Karma yogi, because your jnana yogyata is involved, your karma and upasana are very much are relevant to your moksha. That is the difference.
Thank you so much, Acharya ji. It's a beautiful today. Every second I enjoyed it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Acharya ji,
Yes, Manman.
if I have understood correctly, that so karma and karma phalam are two different things. I mean, sometimes we do use them synonymously, but if I differentiate them, then thinking something in the mind doesn't give karma phalam until and unless there is some physical action based on that. So in this case, when we are talking about a karma, specifically, for example, that job, doing japas, I mean, there is in the mouth we are rolling on, or in my tongue, and then there is japamalas, but we are thinking something else. So in that case, we are not generating the punyam. That is what we mean by, right?
You are not generating punyam, neither are you generating papam.
So basically, but this action is also called karma, although there is no karma phalam.
No, if your mind is focused, what is it? It's a prayer.
It's not focused. No, when it's not focused.
When it's not focused, you are just wasting your time.
So that is what I'm saying.
When it is focused, it's a prayer for you. A prayer is a karma which has punya as a result.
Yes, Acharya. So I said that opposite thing. When physically we are doing this mala, and but in mentally somewhere else. So basically we are not even generating phalam, but there is karma here.
You're wasting your time
karma
basically.
Yes. Okay, thank you so much.
Om Acharya ji.
Yeah.
You mentioned that the Gyan yogi is somebody who has all the knowledge of Brahman, but obviously he has his prarabdha running. Till that time, he's a Jivan Mukta who has to finish his body's setup. Does that also imply that his whichever situation he may be placed may not completely be a sattvic one, like he could be a butcher or somebody doing any kind of action, or probably in a situation which may be where the action is not a shastriya, is not completely shastriya also?
See, now here comes a very subtle concept. You are confusing the he's in this. The word he is being used in different meanings in the same sentence. When you say he is a Gyana yogi, that he refers to the Atma. When you say he is a butcher, that he refers to what?
The
jiva.
And therefore, the sentence itself is meaningless, because in one context you have said if he is like this, then he is like this. You're referring to two different he's.
I think
do you get what I mean?
Yes, I do understand. Probably I'm not able to express it properly. But if suppose there is someone who understands that he is the Atma, obviously the body is functioning in his state is a separate thing. But what it appears on the outside would be that he could be a butcher at that point, or he may be engaged in certain actions according to his prarabdha, which may appear to be a shastriya as well.
The point here is that, of course, Shastra does talk about people, Gyanis over butchers. Okay, that's, I suppose, where you got the example from. But remember that as a Gyani, your vision is Sarvam Brahman.
Yes.
And as a Gyani, the pain of others is felt by you. Because for you, there is nobody who is not yourself. And therefore, I would say it's very unlikely that you'll be a butcher after Gyana. If at all you have been a butcher before Jnanam, you will probably want to drop that, because that the pain which the mind feels is going to be there. You know? As a Jnani, you are identified with everybody else, because everybody is you only. So it's like you.
That is the time, I think, when people have taken sannyasa to move out.
It can be a way. It can be a way, because you realize that, you know, I need not do this. But as an extreme example, you can continue to be, for example, a king, and you are doing your own job, and you are also being a sannyasi, and also being a jnani. So the point being made is that there are two different identities here. The jnani is Atma, the Atma portion of, and the other portion, the he, Here is either the butcher or the king or whatever. If the prarabdha dictates that you are a butcher, then you will continue to be a butcher. The prarabdha dictates that you are a king, you will continue to be a king. And Krishna gives the example of Janaka in the Gita itself. Janaka, in spite of being jnani, was a king, doing all his worldly duties. So that's what Krishna is saying here, that it's not necessary that you have to take sannyasa formally. You can continue to be a grahastha and be a jnani. In fact, that is the beauty of the Bhagavad Gita, because in the Upanishads, when you come to Upanishads, you will see that mostly Upanishads are talking to the sannyasis. But Krishna has extracted from there the essence to mean that jnanam is not restricted to a sannyasi. It can be to a grahastha also.
Right. Okay. Thank you, Acharya.
Raviji, I have a question, please.
Yeah.
The trigunas operate at every point of time for every jiva. So in the three states, the Jagrat Avastha, Swapna Avastha, and
Pritiji, you will have to come closer to the mic. I can't hear you.
in the deep sleep Avastha,
Yeah.
what is the status of the trigunas? Because they are operable in the Jagrat and Swapna Avastha. But what happens in the deep sleep Avastha?
In Sushupti state, trigunas are there in unmanifest state. Because to be able to operate, you need the mind to be functional. In Sushupti, mind is not functional. And therefore, trigunas are there, but they are resolved. They are, because the mind is resolved, they are resolved also. But you cannot say they are not there.
So they operate in some manner unknown to the jiva.
No, they don't operate at all. Because your mind is resolved. Your mind is resolved. The mind is the instrument through which you feel the operation. No? When you say trigunas are moving, they are basically talking about the various types of emotions that you have and the thoughts that you have. But in Sushupti Avastha, the mind is completely resolved. You don't know that I am there as a human being. The mind doesn't know that it is there. Only consciousness is awake, because obviously consciousness is always awake. So the OC is present during Sushupti, but RC is not present. And without the RC, no discussions can be possible about the effect of the trigunas.
Thank you.
Okay. Any questions? Otherwise, we'll stop with this.
Raviji,
Yes, John.
so I forgot in the order of studies of the scriptures. First should be Tattva Bodha, then Bhagavad Gita, and then Upanishads or Brahma Sutras.
First, third is Upanishads, and then Brahma Sutra. That is
Okay.
the entire set of study which we do.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Raviji, I had a question.
Yep, yes, please.
I had heard about a term called Apat Sannyasa. Is it the same as Kevala Sanyasa
No,
that you
no.
just
Apat Sannyasa is different. Apat Sannyasa is sannyasa which you take when your life is at stake. And
Right.
there you say that, if I am saved from this particular, threat to my life, but not with life, it can be a terrible event in your life. Apat basically means difficulty, right? So apat, any great difficulty which you are facing and you see no way out of it, and therefore you tell the Lord that, okay, if you get me out of this thing, I will take sannyasa.
Like you gave the example of Shankaracharya.
Shankaracharya sannyasa was, but then the story is that his mother would not let him take sannyasa.
Right.
So this crocodile decided to help him. That is
Right.
how he got his sannyasa. So that is apat sannyasa.
Okay, thank you.
Thing is that in apat sannyasa, you don't need a formal guru.
Right.
You can simply declare, I'm a sannyasi.
So then Kevala is?
Kevala is you have to take sannyasa. And normally the guru will not give you that. But if you find a guru who gives you sannyasa, then it is okay. See, if you look at Rishikesh and those areas, and you talk to the sannyasis, I don't know if you've done that. You should, actually, it's an interesting exercise. When you go there to Rishikesh somewhere, just chat with all the sannyasis. You will find that there are all sort of people. There are people who are very wise. Okay, like I met somebody who was a graduate from, I think it was MIT, USA. Okay, That fellow was sitting somewhere in Rishikesh. Very brilliant chap. He took formal sannyas. You also find people who have just said that I'm a sannyasi from tomorrow onwards, without really taking sannyas. Those sort of people are also there. But those are all not recognized. A person who takes sannyasa, going to a guru, and the guru gives sannyasa without really knowing who he is, such gurus are also there. But this person having neither jnanam nor jnana yogyata, he is called Kevala Sanyasa. Of course, he could also simply have said, I'm sannyasa, because nobody goes and checks, right? Did you take sannyasa or not? Nobody goes and checks that from a sannyasi. So if you simply say from tomorrow onwards, I'm a sannyasi and wear a, or saffron cloth, you will qualify under Kevala Sanyasa if you don't have the jnanam.
Okay. Thank you.
So thank you very much. We'll close for the day. Om Purnamadav
Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate
Purnasya Purnamadaya
Purnamevavasishyate
Om
Om
Shanti
Shanti
Shanti Om Tat Sat Om Namah Shivaya. Thank you for your patience.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much,
Thank you, sir.
Acharya ji.